107.3 FM.
And we're live from our studios here, number 35, Jen Hammond Street in Accra. Hello. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927. Also on 3news.com. Coming up this afternoon, National Intelligence Bureau on a manhunt for fake currency kingpin. We have details coming up shortly. Also, Attorney General undertaking review on decision to prosecute murder suspect Gregory Afoko once again. We're live at the courts in the bulletin. And much later, Roads Minister impounds trucks on the fast deteriorating Takwa Agunan Kwanta Road for altering their axles. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly. Please stay with us. You're welcome to the program. You're reminded that we're live also on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927. Do well to join us there and leave a comment. We'll be glad to share them with the rest of the world. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. Let's start off the bulletin from here. Now, national security operatives, they are tracking a kingpin behind a sophisticated counterfeiting syndicate said to be operating here in Accra. The operatives made the bust initially in February this year, and the director in charge of special operations at the National Security Secretariat. Let me walk you through what they found and at what time. Let's start off from February 9 this year. National Security Operations, they discovered a 12 20-foot containers with unspecified cedis and dollar notes at Sapemai. Then on March 5, NIB Intelligence seizes a vehicle loaded with about 120 slabs of cocaine with $150 million on the Cape Coast Highway. Still in March 27, National Intelligence Bureau intercepts massive consignment of cocaine weighing 3.3 tons valued at $350 million headed to Accra from the western region. Now we are in April and National Security have discovered hidden BOG money boxes. There's also fake currencies and fake gold bars at Sapemaya warehouse from its February 9 bust. Another story which has engaged the attention of the nation in the last weeks is the issue of two aircrafts which came into the country last month and the alleged connection with drug trafficking. Let me walk you through what we know so far in relation to the cocaine saga. Now, on April 1 this year, the minority organized a news conference, and that was addressed by the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. I'm talking about Reverend Intim Fojo, and these are key aspects of the allegation. He noted that there's an Air Met flight N823 and arrived in Ghana on March 25, 2025. He says that it carried no patient, but it carried suspicious cargo suspected to be cocaine and was stationed in Ghana for 5 days. There's also the mention of Kavok Air Antovai AN12B. Now, that arrived in March 2025 in the country, but that was stationed for 12 days. It departed Ghana the same day as Ahmed and headed to Gran Canaria. We know what Gran Canaria is noted for. It is a notorious, it is an island that is known or notorious for some drug trade there. Following these allegations, government has responded, and government has responded to the Kavok Air and the other airline AN12B, and they say that their cargo planes arrived after March 12. Before they arrived, they secured landing permits, and the purpose of the arrival was a technical stop. In fact, this was made known by spokesperson to the government. I'm talking about Felix Kwachi Ofosu. Says they landed in Ghana from Angola and they were carrying oil drill equipment as well as lubricant oil. They arrived to carry out certification, i.e. scanning and screening of products meant for the European Union market. He says the plane developed engine blade fault, severe oil leakage on arrival, and the replacement was brought in to evacuate the cargo, and the damaged aircraft remained in Ghana for 13 days. He adds that these planes were inspected by aviation security as well as national security officials, and after the inspection, no contraband was found. So these are part of the revelations or the response from government. He adds that it is an air ambulance, and that is in relation to Air Med Flight N823. It is an air ambulance arrived in Ghana from Grand Canary after going through Angola. It is also for a technical stop, refueling, and for the crew to rest. It received landing permit as well, and it developed tire burst and difficulty with landing gear when it arrived. Another aircraft, N864, arrived on the 22nd of March with tires and flight engineers from Luanda. Now, they departed Ghana on the 25th of March after inspections were carried out. He adds that no contraband was found. So this is what we know so far about the cocaine saga and the latest from national security operatives busting a counterfeiting syndicate as well. In the meantime, a former Deputy Minister of Defense and a member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, Kofi Annan, he says the burden of proof lies on the government to provide the airmed and to prove that the airmed, I'm talking about the aircraft in the middle of the cocaine allegations, that it did not lift any illicit drug as being circulated. He is also described as needless media attacks on his colleague MP in Team Fodjo.
And so I find it a bit absurd to hear people attack the personality of Intim Fodjo. It's neither here nor there. An allegation has been made. He's called on national security and the institution, closing authority, to undertake investigation, to answer to and let the Ghanaian know exactly what is happening. Is that a crime?
The concern now is that you alleges must prove, and so they want Reverend Intim Fodjo to prove his allegation.
The Reverend Intim Fodjo is saying that the aircraft was an air ambulance. We were expecting to see patients in there, or after leaving, because it landed on 20th of March and left 25th of March. And what is even funny around the whole incident is the fact that we are told, and this is common knowledge, I read it on social media, that the day the aircraft left the tarmac of Kotoka International Airport, there was a total blackout. Does that not call for a lot of questions? We are asking questions. We have the right as members of the Defense and Interior Committee to ask government questions, and that is exactly what we are doing. Government must allow institutions to work. This does not call for attack on the personality or on the person of Reverend Intim Fodjo. We are asking questions and we want answers.
On the Committee of Parliament, and as member of the committee, do you have evidence to back the claims?
Well, do you want me to show you my evidence? We are on it. And when push comes to shove, Ghanaians will know where we stand.
So that's an interaction that my colleague William Evans Inkum had with the former Deputy Minister of Defense. He is a member of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Kofi Annan there. This is a developing story. We'll bring you subsequent reactions when they happen right here on 3FM 92.7, also on our website 3news.com. Let's do some other stories this afternoon. And the ministers for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, as well as the Minister for Finance and the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they are today expected to engage the United States ambassador to Ghana. This high-level meeting comes in response to the recent imposition of a 10% universal tariff by the United States on imports from Ghana and other countries. Well, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industries has assured the Ghanaian private sector, especially major exporters, investors, and the general public of government's commitment to engage with the U.S. on the current imposition of tariffs on Ghanaian products. The U.S. announced on April 2, 2025 that a 10% tariff would be applied universally on imports from all nations, including Ghana, effective from April 5, 2025. In a statement, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry said swift action is necessary to avoid trade disruptions and investment decisions in the country. The ministry, as a matter of urgency, has engaged relevant stakeholders to determine the extent of the effect and assess the full impact of the U.S. tariffs on the country's economy. Well, the government and ministry added that it is committed to ensuring that the private sector is well informed on the details of the imposition to avoid trade disruptions, as well as to ensure predictability of investment decisions in the country. The statement noted that various strategies are under consideration to mitigate the impact on Ghana's trade. We'll have a conversation on the back of this as we speak with Apia Kusi Adomaku. He is the West African Regional Director of CATS. When we reach him, we'll bring you more on this development. But meanwhile, the sector minister has called on traders to choose made in Ghana product over imported ones to help stabilize the Ghanaian cedi. During a tour of some factories within the Tema industrial area, the minister stated that local factories produce enough product, but they are being exported due to low demand from Ghanaian traders and consumers. We'll bring you the voice of the trade minister in a subsequent bulletins. But moving on to some other stories right now, let's take you to court, where we'll speak with my colleague Lord Edu Asari, where a high court has adjourned the trial of Gregory Afoko after prosecution disclosed that the Attorney General is still considering what to do about the case. Our court correspondent Lord Edu Asari is joining us on phone with some more update. But first, let's take a listen to what Gregory Afoko has been saying.
It's not bad. I'm happy. I'm home. Family. And I thank God I am there. Honestly, I can't tell. Because from the onset, I have not committed anything. I have not committed a crime. But they still kept holding me for all these years, 10 years. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what the judge will say.
Well, my colleague Lord Edu Asari will join us with all the details on the back of this. But meanwhile, the former NPP national chairman Paul Afoko and the brother of the accused, they have commiserated with the family of Sampi Yale following the death of Ghana's former ambassador to India, who and these people were also in court.
Well, who would hope that? Who would not hope to have justice done? I mean, 10 years? Even if he had been convicted for manslaughter, he would have finished his sentence and gone home. But for an offense he never committed. So yes, that's my hope. You asked me an obvious question. Yes, I hope. But we don't know what's going to happen. We are all in war. We just pray that justice is done. All
right. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let's now speak with my colleague Lord Edu Asari for more on the High Court adjourning the trial of Gregory Afoko after prosecution disclosed that the Attorney General is still considering what to do about the case. Lord Edu Asari, thank you for making time for us. What more do we know about the current review the AG is undertaking?
Right. So, Crosby, you'd recall that at his first media engagement, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Aine, talked about the number of cases that he had discontinued. One of the cases that came up was Gregory Afoko, who has recently been granted a 500,000 bail. But then the other person in the matter, Atapke Alamdi, he has been convicted. Now, the Attorney General did indicate that he felt that Gregory Afoko, as it stands, has suffered long enough because Gregory, again, Crosby, again, you recall that Afoko had been in remand for almost a decade before he got the bail. So when the case was called today, the prosecution had a brief engagement with the presiding judge. They actually approached the presiding judge together with the defense lawyer. And then after the meeting, the presiding judge in the matter, Justice Marie-Louise Simmons, indicated that the prosecution had stated that from the Attorney General, the Afoko's case is still being considered, and so they are yet to finalize on what they would decide on the case. And so she adjourned the case to May 30. And so, because when we are back on May 30, we'll know if what the prosecution really has decided on what to do about the case of Gregory Afoko.
I see. Lord, thank you so much for joining us from court. Lord Edwasari as our court correspondent updating us there. Now to some other stories this afternoon. The cholera vaccination for more than 500 residents in the Cape Coast municipality is expected to end today as health authorities they race behind time to contain the contagious and the continuous spread of the disease in the country. The service on April 4 began the vaccination exercise in some districts in the central region for all individuals aged 1 year and older following a cholera outbreak in the Awutu-Senya East, as well as the Agona West and Ifutu districts. Well, since the outbreak in parts of the country in August last year, a total of 6,145 suspected cases have been reported, with 719 confirmed cases as well as some 49 lives lost. Meanwhile, the head of disease control and EPI manager at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsa-Achiano, has emphasized the need to improve water and sanitation to prevent further spread of the disease.
All three districts in Central Region are vaccinating. Mfantsiman District, Cape Coast, and then Commander Edna Egwafo Brim District. So far it's been okay, it's been good. We are targeting approximately 542,000 persons 1 year and above, excluding pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers who are breastfeeding children less than 1 year. We started battling cholera somewhere last year, from Adan East, Adan West to Awutu-Senya East, then that's the Kaswa area, Gan South, and then to Cape Coast and back. And some even went as far as Kumasi and parts of the eastern region. So for us, one cholera case anywhere is a cholera case everywhere. And that is why it is so important that when we have arsenals that would combat the disease, we need to take advantage of it. The problem really is water. In fact, when the people don't have water and sanitation is poor, it's an issue. And so obviously health becomes the ultimate, they bear the brunt of the ultimate. And therefore, would urge people to take advantage of the vaccine that has come to add onto the arsenals, including the prevention of cholera by improving on sanitation, providing water, and then also doing a lot of the sanitation and hygiene, especially personal and environmental. The vaccine only adds to the arsenal of interventions that we have, including provision of potable water, personal hygiene, environmental hygiene and sanitation. We have trained healthcare workers all over the districts that I mentioned. Again, in Mfantsiman, Cape Coast, Commander Edna Egwafo Brim. We'll go to schools, we'll go to the markets, we'll go to the lorry parks. Anywhere we find people, we'll move from house to house as well. And we know the vaccines work, as we have demonstrated from Awutu-Senya East to Western region and back to Central. The vaccines really work, and therefore we encourage people to take advantage. Once we have this brief period, they take advantage of the moment and then take the vaccine.
The voice of Dr. Kwame Amponsa-Achiano there. Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this. Let's head to the area and engage our correspondent Thomas Khan for a live report. Thomas, good to have you join us. Today is the last day of the exercise in these areas. How are the residents receiving the vaccines on the last day? But from where you sit and from what you've gauged so far, how has the exercise been? Hello, Thomas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What I'm asking is the last day of the exercise, how has the exercise been since it began, and what has been the response of residents on the last day?
Well, Crosby, so according to the Ghana Health Service, their response has been very massive, and then participation has also been very encouraging. For instance, over the weekend, they were in people's homes and all of that. Yesterday, for instance, they went to the various churches to vaccinate people. And today being the last day, Cape Coast is dotted with a lot of senior high schools. Today, they've deployed their personnel into the various senior high schools where they are vaccinating the students. As I speak to you now, I'm currently at St. Augustine's College, and I've seen a number of the personnel who are moving from classroom to classroom vaccinating these students. And I spoke to the Deputy Director in charge of public health here in the Central Region, that is Dr. Ojo Kobna, a while ago, who tells me that so far the exercise has been very successful, and they are hoping that by the end of the day, they will have met their target of the 540 plus thousand people that they targeted for this exercise. But as I put a question to him, that what is the sustainable gap measure that they've put in place so that we don't record another cholera outbreak. But he tells me that a lot is going to depend on the public and then the residents here in these affected areas. Because if they practice personal hygiene, they believe that the number of cases or there wouldn't be any cholera outbreak. And he is calling on the various district assemblies to bring back what used to be the town council, where people were penalized for indiscriminate disposal of waste and all of that, and especially open defecation, which is also one of the issues that's resulting to this cholera outbreak. And so they are calling on traditional leaders and then assemblies to also come on board to deal with people who just throw rubbish around and then openly defecate.
Thomas Khan, thank you so much for bringing us those updates. Thomas Khan speaking to us from the Central Region there. Now, away from health-related matters, the roads ministers impounded trucks on the fast deteriorating Takwa Agunan Kwanta road for altering their axles. The 95 million euro road project, completed less than a year ago, has seen significant portions of the asphalted road destroying. Contractors have blamed the deteriorating nature of the road on illegal activities of drivers, forcing the Minister Kwame Abuja-Gavins to undertake an operation on the road. Several trucks were arrested by the minister for overload after the axle weighing booth captured them for overweight. Here is an interaction between the minister and the truck drivers on the road.
Now, Ebanu says as be wait here, Emrano. Never police for actually says here. Want to make call. Him say weighing bridge GHA bridge front of. Okay, we there yanko weighing bridge.
Two of his axles are up, meaning it's a 7-axle truck which is supposed to weigh 70 tons. So an excess of 20.94 tons.
When we met him on the road, 2 of the axles were up. So it means that he was using 7 axles instead of the 9 axles. So his crime is that, yes, the car is a 9-axle truck, but on the road he was deploying only 7. And in that case, it means that the weight in the car was affecting the road more than it should be. And that is what majority of them do. Chief, I think let's go.
So that's an interaction between the roads minister and a truck owner there. To some other stories this afternoon, students of the Presbyterian Nursing and Midwifery Training College in Boko in the Upper East region are urging authorities to reopen the school, which has been closed since November 22, 2024, due to the resurgence of chieftaincy conflict. The students, led by Ankama James, who is president of the Student Representative Council, expressed their concerns at a press conference highlighting the negative impact of the prolonged closure on their education and training. Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala is joining us now with further details. Castro, good to have you. How do the students say the closure of the school has affected them so far?
Crosby, I can hardly hear you. The network is terrible, but if I got you right, I'm asking how the students are coping.
So what I'm asking for is in what way and what practical ways did the students say that the closure has affected them?
Right, Crosby, I've got you now. Yeah, so the students say that the closure of the school is affecting them as far as their education and training is concerned. They say they are a nurse institution, and they are being trained to fill the gaps as far as the growing demand for nurses is concerned. And so they think that the school's closure is making it difficult for them because they're still at home, unlike their colleagues in other schools that are, being taught and trained. They are sitting at home because of the closure due to the resurgence of the conflict. They are unable to go to the classrooms. They are unable to sit for lectures and all of that. When day breaks, all they do is to walk to the campus. That's those that can. And that, according to them, is not helping at all. Even though they are trying to study on their own, it's not helping at all. And for that matter, they think that the government and the presbytery, that's the church, should, expedite efforts to reopen the school for them to go back into their classrooms and begin to study, because the second years or the last years, for instance, are preparing towards their examination later this year, and it's important that the school is reopened quickly.
I see. But in the meantime, how have they been coping since?
According to them at the press briefing, the majority of the students have left and gone back to their homes. Those that are within the Boku municipality, like I earlier stated, would only just go to the classroom to study on their own. But it appears that it's not much because they are able to go far on their own, except that once in a while, teachers who are close to them, who they are close to, come in to try to support. But it appears that the whole closure of the school has brought everything to a standstill, and even our students to do something on their own is very difficult.
I see. Castro, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Castro Senyala speaking with us from the Upper East region there. Let's now take a listen to the SIS representative, Ankama James.
Presbyterian Nursing and Midwifery Training Collect to the high authority of the Presbyterian Church and Government of Ghana. Good morning, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our dear colleagues. We call you this morning to disseminate our concerns to the management board of the Presbyterian Church, the college, and the government in general. We, the students of the Presbyterian Nursing and Midwifery Training College, have called this press conference to express our concerns, the disappointment, dissatisfaction, and frustration regarding the delay in reopening of the college for the second semester. The school was officially closed on the 22nd of November 2024. It has been a period of uncertainty and anxiety for us as students. We have been in limbo, unsure of when we can continue our education and training. As future healthcare professionals, our academic progress is crucial not only regarding our personal aspiration, but also to the healthcare system of our beloved country. Any delay in our training directly affects the time deployment of qualified nurses and midwives who are desperately needed in our hospitals and healthcare centers.
That's the voice of Ankama James, is president of the Student Representative Council, expressing their concerns at a press conference highlighting the negative impact of the prolonged closure on their education and training. Now, before we take leave of you this afternoon, the future of over 250 Ghanaian students studying in Morocco on government scholarships is hanging in the balance, as they have gone more than 13 months without receiving their stipends as well as book and health allowances. The prolonged delay is causing serious hardship, with many students facing eviction due to irregular rent payment and several already receiving formal ejection notices. The president of the Private Ghanaian Students Association in Morocco has been speaking out, highlighting the students' grievances and appealing for urgent intervention to avert a worsening crisis.
Now, students walk on their foot 3 hours, some of them 4 hours before they get to school. Why? Because we cannot pick or we cannot afford transportation daily. So sometimes what we do is that Considering all these situations that we are going through, we decide to absent ourselves from class because you will walk 3 hours to school, and then whenever you get to the school, you are late, and the professors wouldn't allow you to enter. So sometimes we just decide to absent ourselves, and it is affecting our academic performance. We can't do anything about it, and then we can't just sit aloof for this situation to go ahead. That is why we are bringing our voices out today, so that it will reach our beloved President, His Excellency, and other stakeholders to consider us in whatever decision they take in the country.
And that's the voice of the president of the Private Ghanaian Students Association in Morocco speaking there. But that's a wrap up on the midday news on 3FM 92.7. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby Annan, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a good afternoon.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
With no chain, and how it
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. My name is Minu Aful. Coming up this afternoon, Bank of Ghana to maintain $120 million forex support for oil importers in second quarter of 2025 as it schedules monthly auctions to boost fuel supply stability. Also, Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, backs Bank of Ghana's 100 basis points policy rate hike, but cautions against market speculation, urging stronger collaboration to ease pressure on cedi and control inflation.
This is the best way to go, that we work together, the technocrats and then the practical people, and then we will achieve the results that we all seek.
Ahead, we'll hear from President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng. Meanwhile, new research projects first policy rate cut in July 2025, despite latest hike by Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee. We have details of these and more lined up for you. Please stay. The Bank of Ghana will maintain its foreign exchange support to bulk oil distribution companies at $120 million in the second quarter of 2025. The same volume provided in the first quarter, in a move aimed at ensuring consistent supply of fuel in the country. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The Bank of Ghana will sell $120 million to bulk oil distribution companies (BDCs) between April and June this year to support the importation of refined petroleum products. According to the central bank's forex forward auction calendar, the auctions will be held twice every month, starting with $20 million to be sold on April 10 and April 24. The same pattern continues in May and June, with auctions scheduled for the 14th and 28th of May and the 12th and 26th of June. The Bank of Ghana says the auction window will run from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. on each auction day, with results announced at 3 p.m. the same day. This brings the total forex support to the oil import sector for the second quarter to $120 million, mirroring the same amount offered in the first quarter of the year. The move is to ensure the BDCs have adequate foreign currency to import finished fuel products and maintain price and supply stability on the domestic market. The central bank says the auctions will be governed by existing guidelines available on its website.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, governments demonstrated a cautious approach to borrowing costs last Friday, April 4, by rejecting a substantial 2.36 billion cedis worth of bids for its 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day Treasury bills. This rejection came despite the total tendered bids falling short of the government's targets for the auction. There's more in the following 3 Business News Desk report.
A total of 4.05 billion cedis in bids was submitted by investors, falling 334 million cedis short of government's intended target of 4.39 billion cedis. Despite this undersubscription, government opted to accept only 1.69 billion cedis of the tendered amount, signaling a firm stance against potentially high borrowing rates. The 91-day bill proved to be the most sought-after instrument, attracting bids totaling 3.38 billion cedis. However, government only accepted 1.44 billion cedis from this tranche. The 182-day bill saw considerably lower interest, with bids amounting to 501 million cedis. The 364-day bill also saw considerably lower interest, with bids amounting to 176 million cedis. Of these, government accepted 81 million cedis for the 182-day bill and 161 million cedis for the 364-day bill. Interestingly, the auction also saw a decline in yields across all 3 tenors. The yield on the popular 91-day bill decreased by 7 basis points to 15.64%. The 182-day bill witnessed the most significant drop, with its yield falling by 23 basis points to 16.5%. The yield on the 364-day instrument also edged down by 1 basis point to settle at 18.83%. The significant rejection rate suggests that the yields demanded by some investors were deemed too high by the government.
That was the 3 Business News Desk report on government rejecting majority of bids in recent Treasury bill auction. Away from that, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obing, is calling for stronger collaboration between policymakers and trading community to curb panic buying and speculative pressure on the local currency. Speaking at a post-MPC engagement with the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Obing welcomed the central bank's decision to hike the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%, but he warned that without timely communication and coordination, traders may continue to react prematurely to exchange rate fluctuations, worsening inflation and street-level pressure on the city.
We have to look at ways that we can solve this inflation, the interest rate, and especially the exchange rate. Like we said that we have to do something about speculation. It's not good, and our quest to fight the inflation as well. And then it's very important, especially with special regards to the foreign exchange. And so we and your team will collaborate on this, so that any information that we have will also trickle down to the trading sector so that people will not have unnecessary panic. Because sometimes if you start buying ahead of time, your time is not even due for you to travel, but because of speculation, you go and buy earlier than expected. Then we are putting unnecessary pressure on the SM rate. But if you have inside information like the one that you've just done, please, let's continue to do this. This is the best way to go, that we work together, the technocrats and then the practical people, and then we will achieve the results that we all seek.
And that was President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obing there. Meanwhile, a research and strategy arm of IC Securities is forecasting a majority shift in Ghana's monetary policy outlook, projecting the first policy rate cut since November 2024 to take place in July this year. This is despite the latest 100 basis point hike by the central bank.
IC Research says it expects the Bank of Ghana to begin lowering interest rates from July 2025, marking the first policy rate cut since November last year. This comes after the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee raised the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%, citing inflation concerns. But in a market note titled "A Hawkish Kick-Off to the New Regime," IC Research believes the committee is signaling a cautious shift in tone, opening the door to policy easing if inflation continues to fall. The firm points to a likely widening of the real policy rate from the current 4.9% to above 8% by June as a sign of tighter monetary conditions supporting faster disinflation. IC Research had earlier predicted a 200 basis point rate hike in January this year, triggered by Ghana breaching the IMF's inflation target in December 2024. However, that hike was delayed as the central bank monitored the impact of fiscal measures in the 2025 budget. The research outfit maintains confidence in disinflation accelerating in the coming months, paving the way for a potential rate cut at the July MPC meeting.
Well, that also was a 3 Business News Desk report. That's it for Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com. My name is Minu Afo. Stay tuned. Urban Blend is up next with Blackbuster.